So today I'm going to be doing an unboxing and review of the Oukitel OT8 Tablet. I hope I haven't butchered how you say the name, and they were kind enough to supply me this tablet for the purposes of this video. But as always, this is going to be an honest review of this tablet. Nothing's going to be any different from any of my other videos. So let's get into it. Okay, so here is the Oukitel OT8 tablet. And I've got the model with 6 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. But of course you can expand the RAM up to 30 gigs using some of that storage. Nice clean box, and there's a few specs on the back. 11-inch Full HD Plus display, a basic Unisoc T606 processor, 13 megapixel main rear camera, 8,800 mAh battery, Android 13, 8 megapixel front camera, and it's dual SIM, so you can use a SIM card in this tablet if you want to take it out and about and still watch all your favorite bits and bobs. So let's just get rid of that. Let's take it out of the box. Like I said, they were kind enough to supply me this tablet, but this is just going to be a usual review with all of my normal honest opinions. Oh, come on, there we go. Let's just set that aside. So here is the tablet in a pretty nice sort of leather feeling case out of the box, which is really good. And they were kind enough to send me the purple, which is the one I would have picked myself. So that's nice. So 13 megapixel rear camera and LED flash underneath. HD camera, super performance. So if we just flip it out of the case a minute. So already that's a nice addition. Set that aside. So then in the box you've got your paperwork, your USB-C charger, and it is a, God, I can't even see, 18 watt charger, which is nice. USB-C to C cable, and it also comes with a stylus pen as well. Wow, didn't do that very well. Let's maybe not. Ah, there we go. Comes with a stylus pen out of the box. What the hell has just happened there? I'll get back to that in a minute. But it's nice that it provides you with that out of the box. So let's just set that aside for a minute. So here is the tablet. 2 SIM cards, which is nice. And then on the right hand side, you've got your volume rocker, power button at the top, set of speakers, and a set of speakers down there. And USB-C charging port at the bottom. There's your SIM tray and a headphone jack, which is nice. So let's peel the protective bit off the front. No pre-applied screen protector on this one. I have found other budget tablets that I've unboxed to have pre-applied screen protectors, but not the case with this one. Pretty chunky bezels around the edge of the tablet, which isn't surprising. And then the viewing angles, a little bit better than what I found on other budget tablets. So while that's just booting up, I've also got their new WP35 rugged phone that I will be checking out as well. I picked this up off AliExpress, 11,000 mAh battery, which is a bigger battery than the tablet. So if you're interested in seeing when I drop video on that, subscribe to the channel. So I'm just going to set the tablet up, and then I'll come back and run through the UI and some features of this tablet. And just out of the box, 98% battery, pretty good. So I'll be back. Okay, so I've just set up the tablet, gone through the normal setup process, but I didn't want to bore you with that on here. And as you can see, it's a pretty clean version of Android. There's very little in unwanted apps. There's a couple of their own apps, sound recorder, FM radio, flashlight, which is pretty cool. But other than that, I have downloaded Need for Speed No Limits and Geekbench 6, which I did attempt to run that to get a few Geekbench scores for you to have a look, but it just paused for about 15 minutes, so I gave up. So yeah, pretty nice display, pretty chunky bezels as you can see, but that's not really anything to be surprised about on a tablet at this sort of price point. And then if we just jump into the settings, you can see that it's just sort of the normal stock Android look settings menu, and you've got the usual bits and bobs, Wi-Fi and hotspot, connected devices, app information, notifications, battery information, storage. So it comes with 256 gigs of storage, and then of course you can see what various parts of the tablet are taking up how much storage. And then if you go to memory extension, you can select the amount of RAM that you want to expand from that memory. So we'll just do, no, we won't do that yet. But yeah, so you can extend the RAM all the way up to 30 gigabytes should you need that much RAM. You can schedule when you want the tablet to turn on and off if you are particular about that sort of thing. Sound and vibration, all that information is there. And then just your other bits and bobs. And then if I go into system, and we are up to date on Android 13. So unfortunately we haven't got Android 14 at the moment. And we've got a 5th of March 2024 Android security update. So it's pretty up to date with security, but unfortunately not with Android 14. The Teclas T60, which I've done an unboxing video on as well, launched with Android 14 out the box. So we'll see if this tablet gets an update a bit further down the line. And if I jump into display, as you can see, usual display bits, but there's no high refresh rate on this tablet, which is a bit of a shame considering you can buy an HonorPad X9 for the same, if not a little bit cheaper than this tablet, with a 120 Hz refresh rate. So it is just 60 Hz on here, which for me is not the end of the world. Of course, you can flip between light and dark mode, lock screen notification information. You can change the size of the text and the overall display in general. You can make the text bold, and then you can add high contrast as well, but I'm not going to do that. I will make the display just a tad smaller. So it's just the usual sort of bits and bobs on this tablet, what you would expect, I think, from a budget tablet. It is nice to see that there aren't any preloaded games or rubbish apps or anything like that on here. It is a very clean version, and of course you can customize your home screen how you want, and you can just do shortcuts for widgets. So let's add a weather widget if I can find one. Scrap that for a minute. We'll just add the calendar one just for the purposes of this video, and then you can expand it, you can make it smaller, and then of course you can add another one if you want. So you can add a clock widget there as well, and then flip between which sort of style of clock you want, and you can make that smaller. How much smaller there? And then if you want to, you could add a third one. So let's add, we won't do Gmail, let's do Maps. Let's just add that one on there. Don't want to set anything like that. Okay, that was a bad choice. Let's try another one. Let's go for YouTube. And let's just add that one on as well. And then you can customize the size of that one. You can make that smaller if you want to. So there's plenty of customization options. And one thing I did notice, and I don't know if anyone else watching this video has noticed, that this wallpaper looks familiar. And I think it is from a Huawei P30 Pro, because I definitely remember having that wallpaper on that phone when I had it. So with that in mind, I will jump into the wallpapers and see what on-device wallpapers. There's a few nice bright colored ones That one I've definitely, like I said, used on a P30 Pro, and I'm pretty sure those could possibly be Huawei ones as well, but I could be wrong. But I've definitely used them before. And then of course you can just change your wallpaper as you see fit. And then of course the camera is just going to be a basic camera. You're not going to be able to expect too much. Let's take a picture of their WP35 rugged phone, which I will be, like I said, dropping a video on. And then you can crop in. I mean, it's all right. Again, tablets, especially budget tablets, don't have the best performing cameras. They're there mainly for video calls and that sort of stuff. And if you want a decent camera on a tablet, you're going to get a more expensive iPad, Samsung tablet, Huawei tablet, something like that. But it does the job. Of course, in lower light, it's not going to perform too well. I will put a selection of photos taken outside on this tablet up towards the end of this video, so you can have a better look if you're interested. But a few options there. You can switch auto HDR, you can add a watermark, countdown duration, composition line. But again, if you're not going to be using this, for photography, so to speak. So I don't think there's going to be that many people that are going to be that worried about all of those settings, but I could be wrong. And there's a few settings down the bottom. So you've got panorama mode, portrait mode, pro mode, which of course lets you change all of your settings, regular capture mode, video mode, which will it let me see. So full HD, 1080p at 30 FPS, unsurprising that there's no 4K, a slow-mo, which drops the resolution down horrendously to a very grainy video. And then if we tap on more, you get time-lapse, audio note, QR code, and a night mode as well. Now the selfie camera, the 8 megapixel selfie camera is situated here, which leads you to believe that it's going to be more aimed at video calls if you've got it in this orientation. And again, you can't expect a lot. God, look at that mug. Horrendous. But to be fair, that wasn't actually that bad. Not as bad as I was expecting. And then lastly, just to test out the speakers, if we jump to, of course, an Ash Does Tech video, because why not? And then we'll check out, let's check out Pixel 7 Pro. And we'll test out these speakers. I'm going to give you 7 reasons why the Pixel 7 Pro is still a great phone to buy in 2024, and just one reason why you might want to avoid it. So number 1, the display. Now of course everybody's priorities from a display are going to be very different, and not everybody's going to appreciate what the Pixel 7 Pro offers in everyday use. But it's a 6.7-inch QHD. So of course you've got sound coming out of the speakers on both ends, and they do sound pretty good. There's not a huge amount of bass to them, but they are clear and pretty crisp, and the display looks nice as well. I've just bumped up the resolution just so you can hopefully see that it is a little bit clearer than what its default setting is, but it doesn't seem to be changing as yet. Still on, let's go to 1080p. Whether it actually displays 1080p, potentially not, but yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Of course, you can pinch in a little bit so it fills the entire display, but overall, it's not a bad looking display, and the size of the bezels don't bother me. They are all the same size, so it's uniform all the way around, which doesn't bother me again. I will try the Geekbench 6 again, and then I will post the results in the description down below next to the Teclast T60, which uses the T616 processor, so a slight bump up from the one used in here. Okay, and if I do just a very quick test on Need for Speed No Limits using the OT8, and of course you've got the T606 processor, which is an entry-level chip. Now let's not get it confused with something that's going to be really, really powerful, because it isn't. But it seems to be handling this relatively well. Of course, more intense games like Asphalt 9 might struggle a little bit more, or things like Genshin Impact, Call of Duty, they are more likely to struggle considerably on this on this tablet using that entry-level processor. But even if you're someone that just plays a bit of solitaire, or pool, or something like this, Need for Speed, that's not the most graphic intense, it'll be absolutely fine. So again, that's just a very quick gameplay of the OT8. If you want me to do a more in-depth gameplay on this tablet with Asphalt 9 and other games, I can do that in a separate video, but just let me know down in the comments if that's the sort of thing you'd want to see. So overall, it's not a bad tablet at all. It's a nice premium feeling tablet. It's all metal on the back. Nice camera, really nice color. Definitely the one that I would have picked if I was to get the choice, and it's available in green and a gray color as well. So not a bad tablet at all. Of course, at the £180, £190 asking price, there are other options, and I would urge you just to have a look to see what else is about if you're considering a tablet at this sort of price. Namely, the HonorPad X9 can be found a little bit cheaper sometimes, and it has a 120Hz display and arguably a better processor in the Snapdragon 685. But I think this tablet is definitely a decent one, and given that it comes with a nice premium feeling case in the box and a stylus pen, which if I go back, oh god, I'm having a meltdown. Now I've left this little bit on the end because it may need to stay on there. If I'm being stupid, let me know down in the comments. But of course there is that full stylus support on this tablet, which is nice. I have got other styluses that I can use, and there is an actual pen at the other end as well, which again is pretty good. And it all comes in the box, which is more that you can say for any other tablet that I've reviewed on my channel. So it's definitely worth considering. And then of course you get that 8,800 milliamp hour battery, which is about similar to what I found on other tablets. The T60 has an 8,000, the HonorPad 9 has an 8,300, and then it's saying I've got 5 hours and 23 minutes left with 89%. And I would imagine that it will probably learn the usage patterns and optimize the system for your general use. If you're just using it for web browsing, the battery life might improve. But let me know down in the comments what you think of this tablet. Like I said, out of the box, pretty good. Performance is going to be basic, but the display is nice. The battery life is going to be pretty good. The build quality is really nice. Would it been nice to have a 90Hz display? Absolutely, but the T60 doesn't, and that was a similar price as well. So yeah, let me know down in the comments what you think of the OT8 tablet. Subscribe to check out my WP35 11,000 milliamp hour battery rugged phone review, and I've got other unboxing videos of phones and tablets on my channel if you're interested in seeing those. See you in the next one.